The way you speak to yourself shapes so much of how you feel, act, and experience life. Far too often, we belittle, judge, and criticize aspects of who we are, from our looks, abilities, to choices we make. This self-talk locks us in a closed loop of self-rejection instead of self-love. The first step we must take is to notice the tone and words flowing through our inner voice. Does it nurture you with kindness and cheerlead your strengths, or persecute your perceived flaws and shortcomings? Most people realize their inner voice tilts heavily toward the persecuting side. If we hope to flourish in self-love, we must reframe the relationship with ourselves. We have to shift from self as inner enemy to self as inner ally and beloved friend. Think for a moment about the people in life who uplift you, whether family, friends, or mentors. How do they make you feel in their presence? Chances are you feel seen, accepted, valued. You know they champion you, believe in you. You can share openly about struggles without fear of judgment. This unconditional support provides rich, nourishing soil for growth, creativity, taking healthy risks. It lights up every hidden corner of your vast potential. It makes you feel whole. This is the sacred gift true friends offer through their unfailing love and deep understanding of who we really are. I invite you now to dare imagine cultivating this for yourself, within yourself. Instead of internalizing voices that demean you, dreaming up a loyal friend to confide in. An inner cheer squad that celebrates your uniqueness, forgives your flaws, bolsters you up. Vowing here and now to be that voice and steadfast supporter for yourself. Most people protest at this point, believing deeply that self-love must be earned, but worthiness cannot start from self-rejection. What if you finally realized, deep within your bones, that you deserve unconditional friendship always? The seedling metaphor. Imagine yourself as a seedling, newly emerged from soil into sunlight. In wide wonder, you inch roots downward and stretch tiny leaves upward, heliotropically finding light, the beginning of your becoming. At once, the inner voices begin their litany of judgment. How dare you take up any space or resources? You are far too small and weak to survive, not worth saving if drought came. In the dry, harsh light, every flaw magnifies large in the eyes of your beholders. Most crucially, yourself. But the miracle unfolds in simply pruning back limiting views about your right to exist. Here you stand, imperfect, vulnerable, and worthy, boldly meeting the miracle of being alive. The necessity now is gentle care, from within and without, tending new growth not with crushing criticism but with kindness, uplifting messages of keep reaching toward light and I believe in you, little one. If from seed stage we learn to quash our being rather than encourage it, then the voice of self-derision often prevails lifelong. But at any stage we can reparent ourselves, becoming the nurturing guide we longed for. Seeing goodness within us that can almost disappear behind shame and self-doubt, trusting in our own resilience and capacity to transform limiting beliefs about inherent worthiness. When we treat ourselves as that dearest, most compassionate friend does, it transforms the emotional climate. Instead of frost and drought, now abundant springs of self-care, self-forgiveness, and self-compassion bloom. And like any living thing, we grow toward nourishment. As we water seeds of self-love, acceptance, wholeness, we evolve into that vision. The Two Wolves Parable. An old parable speaks of the two wolves locked in fierce battle within every human heart. One wolf embodies peace, grace, and unconditional self-regard. The other wrath, fear, and a desperate need to criticize. We each feed these wolves daily with our thoughts and beliefs about our worth. The one that grows ascendant directs how we walk through life. How might your journey change by starving the judging wolf and feasting the benevolent one? If the judging wolf prowls within us unattended, he savages our self-esteem until we recoil from our gifts, wanting small, safe, unseen. But the divine wolf nourishes us to flourish. She mirrors our beauty, perfection, and bold light. She rests faithfully by our side, reminding us no darkness endures forever. All wolves need feeding to survive. The choice of diet directs the nature of the beast. Are you willing to be a friend to all odd, quirky, creative, and marvelous parts of your nature? To defend and nurture your soul with same vigilance you would lend when binding the wounds of one you love wholly? This agreement beckons you to answer yes again and again, for in that answer liberating vistas of self-love unfold before you. The Masks We Wear, a Sufi tale, recounts villager masks carved smiling yet hiding such anguish beneath. Their sadness, their longing for love distorted faces into absurdist forms. But one visitor newly arrived shows them something revolutionary. Her face bears its joy and sorrow plainly, held gently by self-love. Her countenance continually shapes and reshapes in authenticity. She does not recoil from hurt showing, but allows it flow through with breath, with tears cleansing sorrow's strange arrival. Yet still deeper wells of joy somehow persist, channeling inspiration, chasing shadows away. The masks marvel at her malleability, the courage and wisdom of her naked face. Until finally, one by one, they too shed disguises, trusting in loving welcome, a witnessing, a seeing. What masks have we fashioned to cope, constructed to hide? Can we release their weight, lighten their hold by nakedly naming our needs for understanding, nurturing, acceptance? Can we mother and father ourselves as the vulnerable children within still hope for? The invitation is not to paper over broken parts that require mending, but rather tend their healing. Listen to what calls for replenishing, then boldly match the need. In awesome arriving fullness of our complicated, gloriously shifting faces, we glimpse the beginning, raw, resilient, unmasked beauty gazing back at us from the mirror. Saying yes here eclipses all opposite, knee-jerk reactions echoing inside caverns of not enough. For unconditional love untethers tides of ancient sorrow, washes clear belonging. Watering our own gardens. A Benedictine monk named Frere Roger said the most important question one could ask is this: what are you doing to water your own garden? By garden he meant our growth, body and soul. Are you generously tending soil, planting seeds of self-care? Trusting enough sustained light filters through despite all that would choke life's purpose? Faithfully pruning limiting doubts about your gifts blossoming? Boldly unfurling tender petals when impulse strikes to honor your given light? Where are you stingy, with forgiveness, self-expression, or permission to rest? Do you crush your own creativity's longings, or ignore care needed to regenerate? Consider, too, where weeds of comparison, self-judgment, and perfectionism cloister. Rip these out by their roots, for these do not nourish but strangle. Your only duty is grow generously into fullest, most authentic self.